G'day guys, and welcome to another YouTube lesson. Today we're going to take a look at voluntary, your choice, and involuntary, not your choice, cessation. Okay, and that's to do with ending a business or a company. Your choice, voluntary to do so, or forced upon you, involuntary cessation. We're also going to look at this notion of liquidation and the difference between bankruptcy and insolvency and a few other bits and pieces. Now, just a reminder that this fits in with business growth and decline. It's the last of the subtopics in the nature of business topic that we do in Year 11 business studies. So voluntary and involuntary cessation and liquidation is the syllabus dot point we're looking at today. Have fun. Now, cessation refers to the ending of a business. All right, so again, when you end a business, we call that, we deem that cessation. It's maybe a term you haven't heard before. There are two main types of cessation: voluntary and involuntary. So again, voluntary, ending of the business, or involuntary, ending of the business. Voluntary cessation is when the owner of the business decides to cease to end its operations. It is a decision entirely made by the owner, and it's not forced upon the business. So again, voluntary, it's not forced. You get to choose as the owner to end the business. And you might have your reasons we'll look at later. Now, some of the reasons for voluntary cessation include a loss of enthusiasm and ideas. You just might be over it. A corner store down the road shut recently, and they just had enough. You know, I mean, there's only so long you can probably work in a corner store. Unlike teaching, which I thoroughly enjoy, where, you know, you continue and want to do it all the time. Sure. Okay, sometimes you get over things and you just want to do something different. Also, another reason for voluntary, your choice to end a business, is the desire to retire. Now, you look at me and you think super youthful, probably 22, probably more like 52. But you might get close to retirement and just want to retire and enjoy the rest of your twilight years. Another business offering to purchase your company or your business could be another reason for voluntary cessation. Or you can start to see declining profits and you're still making money. So you're not being forced to cease to exist to have cessation. It's not involuntary, but you can see the writings on the wall perhaps, or opportunity cost. Maybe you can earn more money being an employee, and so you choose to end the business. Now, on the flip side, if you've got voluntary cessation, you've also got involuntary cessation. This occurs when the closure of the business or the company is forced upon the owner. They don't get to choose the business ceasing to exist. Some reasons for involuntary cessation include the death of an owner. That kind of makes sense. You're dead, probably still can't do your job. That's a bit harsh, but true. Other reasons include a lack of demand for the product that is being offered by the business. So people aren't keen to buy that anymore. Sales and so on would drop. Unfavourable economic conditions. And it's such a shame that the economy isn't really kind of flat or just slightly increasing. You do get these waves. It's cyclical. Booms and busts of the economy. And so on. And that's the job of the Reserve Bank through monetary policy and the government through fiscal policy to try and push down those booms a little bit so that inflation is not caused and we can have more sustainable growth, and to pull up, to push up, I suppose, those downturns in the economy. So that businesses don't cease to exist because of unfavourable economic conditions. Another reason for involuntary cessation is the increasing amount of competition in a specific industry the business is located. Makes sense. More competition, less customers for you, less market share, you go on. Or the New South Wales Supreme Court ordering that the assets of your business be sold to cover the unpaid debts of the business. That's not such a good thing. When courts get involved, not great. Now, another notion from the syllabus you need to be aware of is this concept of liquidation. Water is liquid, it's free flowing. The most liquid financial asset is cash, koinola, cash. Not a house, not shares, but cash. So liquidation occurs when the assets of a business are sold in order to recover outstanding debts, to be put into cash, electronic cash these days, but cash, to be paid to your creditors, to pay off your outstanding debts. Now, in this instance, a person is appointed, they're known as the receiver. They take responsibility for the sale of assets, the receiver does, and the recovery of the debt. The assets are then sold off, so that the debts or part of the debts of the business can be paid to the business's various creditors. Now, creditors are people, banks, etc., who have lent you money, all right? And you are a debtor to them. You've got to pay off your debts to these creditors. If the business has unlimited liability, because it's a business, it's not an incorporated entity like a company. A sole trader or partnership are examples of unlimited who have unlimited liability because they're unincorporated. Then the owner's own personal assets may be sold also to repay the various businesses' debts. So not so good. Now, a note here. Bankruptcy is when all assets are sold off for a business. Hear the term a business, okay, when they cease to exist. All right, so it's unincorporated. All right, now, when we talk about insolvency, all right, we're talking about this being for a company, whereas liquidation is when all assets, and insolvency is when all assets are sold off for a company that ceases to exist. The difference is that bankruptcy is for a business, it's unincorporated, all right, whereas the other is for an incorporated business or company known as, it's incorporated and it's known as insolvency or liquidation. All right, guys, thank you again for listening to this lesson, and I'll see you next time.